all my Kenvians, and welcome to a new episode of Discovering Doctor Who. Today, we're going to be watching the next to last episode of Series 11, I almost said season again, It Takes You Away. And maybe that's referring to the TARDIS in some form, or maybe it's going to talk about a monster that takes you away. I'm not sure what else it could be. Midna, thank you. She was clawing at things and she shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, let's get right into it and begin. It takes you away, and see if we get taken away into the wonderful world of Doctor Who. I know I will be. And go.
I thought we'd leapt into the Woolly Rebellion. Sorry, what? The Woolly Rebellion. In 193 years, there's a total renegotiation of the sheep-human relationship. Utter bloodbath. Always fancy things. Looks like it's been abandoned.
Hi.
Someone's in there. Well, I'm the hard way, and I mean, we can't go a long time without eating, and I get a bit cranky with the old low blood sugar level.
Fair point.
Always come prepared.
How did you get...
Poor kid.
Yeah, fine. I heard Dad did a runner and she's making this monster stuff up.
Let's not make any assumptions.
You've seen a lot of things, Ryan.
Did you just shout?
A row of dead birds ain't normal.
Also, I need you to keep protecting this house from whatever's outside. Ryan will stay here with you. Not him.
Hey,
Stay clear of the human. His daughter's missing him.
Such tragedy makes me hungry. No.
Where exactly are you taking his ribbons?
Relax. Enjoy ribbons.
No.
Oh, we are. So
oh, you've got to be kidding me.
What?
Oh my God. How could you smell worse than last time? I smell this following.
I can't say I'm particularly sad about this outcome.
you got Mirror married?
No. Celine is Hanne's mum.
What?
Hannah's mum's dead.
In your world, I am.
I know that sound. You better tell me right now what's going on. Don't do this to me.
What if you do something it hasn't dealt with before? Like reverse polarity or something? Yes, we can. You speak my language.
I ship them. I find it incredibly hard to believe that they would be able to survive. No, I mean...
What about Ryan? He's in trouble out there, love.
But he'll be fine. He's a smart lad.
That's definitely not great.
Why is there a frog in here?
Hello.
You said that could stop being treated.
Well, at least we got each other, right?
Aw.
Granddad. What did you just call me? You want death in your old age?
Oh. Oh, I was hoping so much that something like that would happen, especially after he saw Grace, or not Grace. Oh, that was something redeeming. Oh, because unfortunately, well, you never know. I might come to a different decision. I know I didn't make my decision known as to my overall feelings on this episode, but you might be able to infer it. But let's go over some of the big points, and who knows, maybe in the course of thinking about it and talking about it, I might change my mind. So, to start with, it takes you away. The funniest part, the absolute funniest part of this entire episode, the Woolly Rebellion. So in like 190 some years, apparently sheep and humans have to reconstruct their social interactions. I want that to be visited at some point. I mean, other than the fact that, according to the Doctor, it's a very bloody affair, I want to see that in this show. I mean, who knows, at this point someone may have written some fan fiction about it already, but I want to see the Woolly Rebellion. It seems like such a bizarre, weird, and yet amazing thing that I would really love to find out what the deal is with the Woolly Rebellion. So yeah, so that's the funniest part of this entire episode. Another one there is the fact that Graham, I do appreciate the fact that apparently Graham, he's adapted to the whole, to the life with the Doctor, understanding that there can be long periods of time of not being able to eat, so he packs extra food. That just seems kind of brilliant, really. I mean, I'm trying to think if any other companions have ever done something like that. I don't think they have, at least not in the on the TV show. Maybe in some of the extended universe stuff like comics or the audiobooks or audio dramas. Yeah, because some of them are just audio dramas, like from Big Finish. But it's kind of brilliant, honestly, and I feel like it does show that Graham is he's probably the most resourceful out of the companions that are currently in the group. I mean, each of them bring their own thing to the crew, without a doubt, but yeah, he seems like the most resourceful, shall we say. Midna, no. Hey, no. Get over here, you nerd. Anyway, I won't lie, when Ryan was initially, his first interaction with Hanne, I kind of just thought he was being a jerk. I mean, to be completely honest, I mean, they explain that he's not good with kids and that kind of deal, and he wasn't wrong. He was right. I mean, Eric basically abandoned her. Seemingly not permanently, but, you know, you can only trust him you can only trust Eric so much at that point. But yeah, I definitely, I was wrong about Ryan in this case. It's like, you know, he was speaking from personal experience. It wasn't the nicest thing to be said, but you know, he was speaking his mind, and you know, really there's nothing wrong with that, because you know, he recognized afterward that, you know, he didn't handle it very well, and like, he moved on from that. Hanne came to forgive him, and they came to be friends, which was really really cool there at the end. It was really cute. I think that's where cute came from, the cute thing. Now, the whole mirror universe, anti-zone, mirror world thing, it was a very interesting concept. Ribbons, I mean, I can only assume that we're not going to get any form of explanation as to what he was. I'm pretty sure the Doctor didn't mention any particular species of what he might have been. To the best of his knowledge, he had always been there in the anti-zone. And he was just... I don't know how to feel about him. I mean, yeah, he was a creepy, gross presence, but in the end, was he really necessary? I don't think so. I mean, to be completely honest, he was really just completely... he was filler for this episode. Like, yeah, I mean, if there was the flesh moths or whatever, there's completely a possibility that, you know, they could have had it where, like, the Doctor recognized what they were, and they are inhabitants of the anti-zone, and that's what would have tripped her off as to where they were. So really, the Ribbons character wasn't necessary at all. It was just there to be creepy and weird and then die. And that really just, again, act as filler between the real world and when they got to the mirror world, where they found Eric, Trina, I can't remember her name, but yeah, when they found her and Grace, or not Grace, I feel like maybe they could have expanded on the whole mirror universe thing, this Solitract, which that's another kind of issue I have. I mean, one of my issues, I mean, to boil it down, just Ribbons and like a large portion of what occurred in the antimatter zone, it didn't matter, really. I mean, especially when you consider, okay, he led them through the area, but in the end, when they were escaping, they were able to find their way out no problem. So there was literally no purpose of him being there. And then I was a bit let down by the fact that the monster was fake. Part of me wished that it's like, you know, there was, or thought maybe there was some sort of invisible monster. I don't take total issue with it, though. Again, I'm just disappointed in that regard, because it did tie into the mirror universe thing, Eric having gone to the mirror world to be with his dead wife, or not his dead wife, but yeah, over in the mirror world. And yeah, I don't know, I wish that they had explored the mirror world a bit more. The area where the Solitract was. Like, I don't know, had they not spent so much time in the anti-zone, or anti-zone or anti-zone? I can't remember which. If they hadn't spent so much time there, they could have explored a little bit more the concept of what was going on. The Solitract perhaps could have felt a little bit less like just complete exposition. Maybe explore a little bit into the idea of that. Maybe even make the otherworld seem convincing as a place where they might want to stay. I mean, obviously the Doctor wouldn't get tricked by that, but who's to say that it couldn't have produced something that would make Yaz want to stay, to actually make Hanne want to stay. Now, she wasn't tricked because apparently it was just a complete visual thing, or like a visual trickery, because she wasn't fooled at all by the thing pretending to be her mother. If Ryan had made it through, what would they have done? Would it have simply used Grace to try and convince him to stay? I guess I feel like more than anything, this episode was a missed opportunity. And going on from that, the big reveal, I guess, after the Doctor stays with the Solitract, am I saying that right? Yeah, the Solitract in its world, and then suddenly everything goes white. And even the Doctor herself says, "Why is there a frog in here?" And that scene in particular, just, there was something about it. Like, they were going for something very heartfelt, I think, perhaps a bit of absurdity behind that, but at the same time, it's like absurd but heartfelt. Something that, like, they had it talking with Grace's voice, and it took on the form of one of her favorite things. And that's fine. That by itself could have worked, but this was one of the, I honestly actually kind of wish they had used a CGI frog instead, because even if it would be a bit not real looking, a bit uncanny valley possibly even, the puppet thing that they used in this episode, it was fake, but it looked more Uncanny Valley than PlayStation 1 graphics Uncanny Valley, if that makes any sense at all. It does to me and probably other older gamers. But yeah, there was just something about that scene that seemed off. And even like when the Doctor is talking to us, like, if you let me go, we'll be best friends. And, they're trying so hard for this very heartfelt moment, but it just feels not good. And yeah, honestly, I do unfortunately feel like, as a whole, this is the weakest episode of this entire season. It does have some positive points. It did have some things that made me laugh, and the moment at the end with Ryan calling Graham Granddad, that's a moment that I've been hoping for and waiting for this entire season, really. It's something that I was looking forward to so much. So the fact that it came at the end of this episode feels bittersweet. It honestly almost feels like it was this last-ditch effort of them to try and reel us back in, which for me, it worked to the degree that I'm happy that moment occurred. I'm happy that Ryan finally called Graham Granddad. But the rest of the episode was meh at best. They had so many good ideas, and had they gone about it a different way, I feel like it would have shined. I mean, I would say shined so much more, but this didn't even shine. It could have been a good episode. It could have been an enjoyable episode had they not even bothered with this Ribbons character. The flesh-eating moths, that's fine. That's something in the in-between world they have to avoid. But there was just so much filler there that was unnecessary, took away from the story, and that made the end section where they're in the mirror world and, you know, this really hard decision that has to be made is like, you know, that's trying to trick Graham into staying. It could have been fleshed out more. It could have been made into something that felt solid, that felt like a real, like there was real heart put into it. But honestly, it actually kind of feels like they had certain moments they wanted to touch on in this episode. They wanted to have the moment where Ryan finally calls Graham Granddad. They wanted to have a moment where Graham is truly tempted by the return of Grace. Not the real Grace, obviously, but having Grace in his life again. They wanted to do that. They wanted something around those lines. But then when it came time to do a story about it, they kind of half-assed it. At least that's the way it feels in my opinion. So yeah, I know people have had issues with other episodes. They've made it well known. And I understand some of the perspectives. I have enjoyed, up to this point, every episode this season. It's like some of them have been a bit weak, but overall I have truly enjoyed every episode this season except for this one. This is not to the level of badness, but this is the Love and Monsters of Series 11. Yeah. So I feel I hate actually having to say that, because I do know that some people actually do like Love and Monsters. I don't, but just comparatively speaking, it just doesn't stack up to the other episodes for me. It may have been another step down in a continuing chain of letdowns, like some people seem to feel this series has been. I completely disagree in that regard, but I can definitely agree this was not a good episode. It was a letdown. Again, liked certain parts of it, but those unfortunately don't make up for just a not well written episode at all. So yeah, I hate talking about the episode like that, because in general I still try to approach these episodes with a positive opinion, a positive perspective. Because even when I don't like an episode, I do my best to point out the positive aspects. But I did my best here, but overall it just wasn't for me. It wasn't a good episode for me. That being said, if you did like this episode, I want to hear from you. I want to hear why. I want to know why you enjoyed this episode and what made it special for you. Legitimately, I'm not trying to call anyone out, and I'm definitely not going to allow anyone to go after someone that actually did like this episode. Everyone has their opinions. Some people are more jerks about their opinions than others, but everyone has their opinions, and if you enjoyed this episode, legitimately enjoyed it, I want to know why. I want to hear your perspective on that. So yeah, everyone, thank you so much for being here for this episode of Discovering Doctor Who. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, or really read your comments, because I can't hear text. Anyway, sorry. And also, I would like to hear what you all have to say about what I've said throughout this video. I'm curious to hear your perspective on my perspective. As always, whether you're communicating with me or with others here in the chat, please do keep it civil, keep it civilized. There have been a few times lately where comments have gotten a bit personal, it seems, and I really don't want that to happen here on the channel. It's like we're still a very small channel, but we're getting bigger, and I know as it gets bigger, it's going to be harder to really monitor or maintain things, keep things always as positive as I want them to be. But, you know, in as much as I can, I want this to be a good community where people can discuss their ideas without feeling attacked because they like a character or they like a episode that someone else doesn't. There's plenty of reasons to disagree on things, and there's plenty of things to fight about in this world, but if it's something you enjoy, there's no reason to have a drag-out fight and, you know, be personal, make personal attacks on people. Anyway, it's late, and I'm going to stop rambling now. So everyone, again, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on the next episode for the Battle of Ranskor Avkolos. That's a mouthful. Anyway, until then, everyone, I'm Papa Ken. See you next time.